Welcome back, everybody, to the Bench Sheet Podcast. I am George Niang. This is my co-host, Kevin Spees.
Got caught holding my bottle of water. Sorry.
We're back, and we don't have a guest, and we're excited to talk about a couple of topics that we have here. Yeah, Pop.
2 weeks in a row, we're just doloing it. We're going to get some guests again soon. We had fun with a good string of guests.
Yeah.
But it's also been fun just when it's you and I. We're just double duding this podcast. I don't know
where he was going with that, but
do you know one time I double duded a motorcycle with a grown ass man on the back for like a good 20-minute ride in Philadelphia, and he was like a biker dude, spent time in jail.
You know, it is the city of brotherly love.
I did feel something start poking.
Whoa.
Me. Okay, I didn't. It's a little too early for a wiener joke. We're only like a minute in. No wiener jokes, everybody.
Gosh, Kevin.
George. A lot of great basketballs happen over the past week.
We
don't want to go too far back, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about two incredible game sevens.
God.
What do you want to start with? Because I liked them both.
I mean,
actually, I didn't really like one of them, but
I don't know. You can, there's just.
I'll go first with what was hard to watch, which was the Knicks and the Pacers. Game 7 in the Garden. I know it's your boy. And I also, like, my friends who are Knicks fans, it's worth mentioning, can't stand Tyrese Halliburton because he's the Trae Young right now. He's like the one that just beat the Knicks. You know, that happened a few years ago with Atlanta, and Trae was the villain.
What was he like?
He's talking a little shit, which I love. I think it's cool. And whatever. I personally like him. I've only met him the one time, but secretly I kind of root for him. I was glad to see that they stepped up and played really good basketball.
You might be the only Knicks fan that says I will secretly root for him.
I don't know if I'm secretly. I am. Yeah, I'm secretly rooting for him. And TJ. TJ's also
a goat
friend of the pod, friend of Grill Guys. So I'll tell you what, it was impressive to see them shoot the basketball the way they did you at any point in the game were you like, this may be the best shooting performance of any team in NBA history?
Actually, so I was watching the game, and when they went up 20, I'm like, dang, like this is like impressive. They came out, on it, because you can only imagine how hostile MSG game 7, like the Knicks haven't been here in a
20 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was 20, but you know what I mean? It's been some time, and they go up 20, and then the Knicks start like cutting it down to 15, and I'm like, this is like a very uncomfortable situation to be in when you're the team that's up by 15, especially when you're on the opposing team.
Yeah.
Just considering the fact that once they get momentum, one thing happens to another.
Loud.
And I think the game-changing point, which we can get to later, is when out of halftime, New York comes out and like goes on a run. And Rick Carlisle calls a timeout. It was like a 4-0 run. And Rick Carlisle calls a timeout, and then they kind of get it together. And the lead got close, but then they pushed it away. And that was kind of like a crucial timeout where if you don't really pay attention to basketball, that was actually huge. Great call.
It's good.
By Rick
I think
Carlisle.
They got it down to 5, if I'm correct, or maybe they went on a 5-0 run. And then before you blinked and it was back to 13. And it's like, me and my friend were talking, because it's like when you go up early in the first
you
half,
and your friend, who, Adrian Wojnarowski?
No. Yeah, me and Shams were talking.
Van Gundy? JJ Redick?
Yeah, I was talking to JJ Redick.
You and the basketball minds?
Actually, me and Austin Rivers were talking. And we were saying, like, in any basketball, when a team goes up early, if they go up 20 points, it really is significant, because everyone can say, like, oh, well, the second half is the second half. It's like, yeah, but because they were up 13 at halftime or whatever it was, when the Knicks would go on that 7-0 run, they're still down fucking 13 points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so much harder to get out of the
with
hole.
Injuries, with guys that haven't really played too many games together. And then like OG Anunoby, 2 claps for you, bro.
Yeah, he tried.
The fact that you got up there and gave it the good old college try. I mean, credit to you. That's dedication. You can take that into contract negotiations for sure.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers that the Pacers shot, and it's like, all my Knicks friends were like, oh my God, they shot 70%. They'll never shoot like that again. And it's like, well, guys, stop for a second. We're giving them open shots. It's not like they were just hitting 70% on all tough shots. Like, they were getting the shots they wanted, layups, walk-in threes. It's like, it's hard to beat a team when the shots are easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, moving on to the prime time. The Ant Show. Well, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Like, Anthony Edwards, like, was not only, I've said this before, was not only electric in Hustle, but like now that was acting, and now you're getting like the real him, and then you get to see him mic'd up. And the fact that Minnesota could go in to Denver and win Game 7
and be down 20 in the first half.
Yes, that was remarkable. I mean, it just shows the emotions of the game and how if you can stay steadfast and stay with it. Obviously, Anthony Edwards didn't shoot it, that great, but Cat was awesome. Rudy played an integral part, and especially in the second half. And then Naz Reid, there's just so much going on over there. It's going to make for an amazing Western Conference Finals. I don't want to take anything away from Denver, but I want to say that, replacing key role players that helped you get to where you were.
Yeah.
It's tough in the NBA.
Man, like you said it.
Like you saw, Bruce Brown was on the Nuggets last year, played a huge role. Huge. Averaged, I think it was like 12 or 13 points in the playoffs. You don't have that.
You said last or maybe it was 2 episodes ago how no 2 seasons are alike, and each season is its own team. You're never going to have this exact team back, and any team. And so,
let's run it back. It's going to be easy. No,
it's not. And so you bring up a really good point, because those role players play a big part, and it seemed like Minnesota was just a little deeper. They just have they're younger, but they're a little bit deeper. They have a little more firepower. It seemed like on those 7-8 guys. And it's like, going back to Ant, it's like, yeah, he didn't shoot the ball well, but he impacted the game, and he got his other players open looks, and they knocked him down.
Yeah. And then to be that young, and you hear, we'll have to play a clip of it, but when they're like, "Oh, Mike," or he's like, "Hey, don't set a ball screen, like they're trapping me," or "Hey, if they set a ball screen, they trap me, I'm going to make the right play." To be that mature, but also be that good and athletic, to not be like, "No, I'm going to do it by myself," and have to learn the hard way after losing, and forcing it, because that's what Denver was betting on. We bet that he's going to force it each time, and if you come out and make the right basketball play, and that's why it's so big nowadays, where everybody's like, the AAU stuff, like, let's teach guys to play the right way, because when you play the right way, look what happens.
Yeah, and it seems like he doesn't give a shit if he scores 12 points, as long as they win. Yeah, he's pumped and ready to go. And similarly on the Knicks side, there's a report that when Josh Hart was walking out of the locker room, he's like, "And those 2 motherfuckers better be back next year," because there's a big question mark about whether OG Anunoby and Josh Hartenstein are gonna be back or not.
Isaiah,
what did I say? Josh Hartenstein?
Yeah, real good Knicks fan here.
Isaiah Hartenstein. And so, you have no idea whether it's like, we'll run it back. As a Knicks fan, it's like, well, we don't know if we're going to be able to run it back. So
you'll never know, because they have real decisions to make. I mean,
they do.
Bogdanovich, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. You think about all the injuries that the Knicks had. Wow.
Yeah, a lot, bro. You're down 4 big time role players.
But sometimes it is addition by subtraction, so you never know. Not saying anything about those guys that are out, because the Knicks are obviously good at them. But like I said, every year is a new life, and you kind of have to find new ways to be effective. And maybe this is the way that they trend. Into next year.
So tonight is obviously Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Last night was Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. What a game. I mean, you feel bad on one side, you feel good on the other side, depending who you root for. What is like a takeaway from the game?
I mean, I think you feel bad either way. I was saying this to someone in the Knicks Philadelphia, series, when, Kyle Lowry took the ball out under the hoop when they were up 3 against the Knicks with like 20 something seconds to go, and pass it in. And obviously, the controversy was that, did he get fouled? Did he not get fouled? Whatever. That is what it is. I've always been a big advocate of calling a timeout if you have one to advance the ball, because then if you're up 3, what does the defense have to do? 1, steal the ball from you. And after they steal the ball from you, they have to go the length of the court to then hit a 3-point shot. There's like a lot of things that can happen. Well, last night in the Pacers, Celtics game, it's 10 seconds. You have the ball out by your basket. I'm not sure what the rules are. I think you can call a timeout and advance it.
Yeah. But they inbounded it on the sideline, but it was in the backcourt still.
Yeah, but it was by their hoop. My theory on the whole thing is never inbound the ball by your hoop. Make the other team have to steal it by your offensive goal,
right,
and then have to take the ball down to their offensive goal and score. So I would have said my overall thing is I would have called a timeout. And another thing is I haven't gotten burned by fouling and then them shooting 3 free throws, especially with the new NBA rules. But let me tell you,
they don't shoot 3. They don't shoot 3.
No, but if you're going into your motion,
sure.
That's kind of an iffy. I've never gotten burned on that, but if you have gotten burned, I can understand why you don't foul.
Can we pause because I don't know if we're being clear about what we're talking about. When you're up 3 and you're on defense and you're up 3, so they've already turned the ball over. Now Boston's inbounding the ball. Indiana's up 3. They should foul, and it was tough because he caught it and shot it pretty quickly.
Where the ball was? Right under the
basket.
Hoop.
I know. So, but you saw it in other games. You saw it in that Philly-New York series where Maxey hit a half-court shot. Coaches still don't always foul when they're up 3 under 10 seconds. And it's like you talk to 10 coaches and 10 coaches half will give you this way, half will give you that way. What is your take? Do you think that is always the best play to foul? Because I'm with you. I have never seen a team get burned from fouling that situation.
I mean, it's happened.
I've seen them. Yeah, but I've seen a million of the times where, especially in the NBA, a guy's going to pull a shot out of his ass and make it.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible shot. And I'm sure there's numbers that play the odds where guys miss. Like those numbers got to be out there somewhere, and that is honestly Kevin's job to find that. Up. But he hasn't. He's been on administrative leave for a little bit. So, but with that being said, that was heartbreaking for the Pacers because they played an unreal game 1. A lot of guys stepped up. Miles Turner, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Tyrese Halliburton was great. And then you think about the likes of Andrew Nembhard and the big shots that he was hitting down the stretch. So you definitely want to take advantage of the Celtics lineup until they get Porzingis back, because then I think that offers its own challenges. So that one hurt. But you got to move on. Game 2, like I said, it happened.
I actually think, and we were saying this off air, I actually think Indiana matches up well. Really, they're just a tough matchup in the playoffs because they push and transition so well. They get easy buckets. It's seeming like on everybody's defense, it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to get their buckets. And their defense, they've shown flashes of having a really good defense. They've shown flashes of not having the best defense also.
Who?
Indiana. Yeah, they've shown holes in their defense, but it seems like when they lock in, especially
their offense, tell them, Kevin, tell them about the offense, because you've been drawing up some plays on the board. Tell them about how you like how they run the Venn diagram. And
I'll tell you what. Here's the most impressive thing. I think
double staggers away.
No, I don't think all that. I think what is really impressive is that it's really hard to keep their guards in front of you in transition, including guys like TJ McConnell, who just seem to get past everybody. It doesn't matter who you throw in front of them and where they pick them up. It's like he's going to get in front of you and he's going to get an advantage by doing it. And so I think a lot of their advantage is just that it's hard to keep the guards in front of you. They just blow by.
A funny TJ McConnell story. So early on in the process of the draft process, I was going through, I had a workout in Philadelphia. Mind you, Philadelphia, the Sixers before their new facility were working out at like a college
in Delaware.
Yeah, that they like rented out or whatever. And TJ, after the workout was there, because, the draft guys will work out, and then the guys that were on the team, this is when he was in Philadelphia, would work out after. And, I'm still like a big analytics guy. You take layups and shoot threes, and everybody has something to say about TJ's, jump shot. And I saw him just working on these, his coach would work with him and put a pad up, and he'd shoot these fadeaways from right inside the key or just right outside, the paint or right in the paint. And I'm in my head, and we had known each other, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, why the fuck is he doing this? This is pointless. These are bad shots. These are shots that the other team wants you to take.
Yeah.
But and that was 8 years ago, and he has worked. Would diabolically be the right word?
Yeah, diabolically is incessantly.
Yeah, he's worked like endlessly on this shot to then have it really become super effective because he can get to the paint whenever he wants. They're going to be like, oh, we're not going to guard you. You don't shoot threes. And then he's like, okay. And then guess what? In the midst of him going full speed, he can stop, get up, rise, and knock down that shot. And that just goes to show you the course of like the work that he's put this in for the course of like 8 years. And did it show up a couple times? Yes. But when it really showed up was 8 years later in the Eastern Conference semis.
That's so cool. And I loved the story that JJ Redick told about how I don't know if JJ was covering the game or he was in Arizona for TJ McConnell's last college game, and he came off the court and he was crying. This is the story that JJ Redick said. And JJ goes to himself, he goes, man, it's such a shame. That kid is such a good player. He's such a good high level college player, but he's never going to play in the NBA, and that's sad. That's what JJ thought.
Yeah, eat those words.
And he said this. He's, and it's just so cool to see a guy who, is like a scrappy defensive player to building this offensive repertoire that is a little bit unorthodox in a sense, right? It's not really.
It fucking works.
It works, and it's just great to see. And from everything you hear about people who know him, he's also a great dude and a great teammate. So it's cool to see too.
Yeah, TJ, we hate you, but Kevin loves you. So.
Dream guest, TJ McConnell. Hopefully we get him on. Okay. So you didn't ask, do you didn't answer. Do you foul under 10 seconds? Yes or no? You do?
Yeah, I would foul.
Up 3. Okay. All right. Moving on. Do you want to make a prediction for East of the Western and Eastern Conference?
No, I mean, I think that's too soon. Just an emotional roller coaster of these
we both
these
did
games.
pick
Don't worry. We'll have another pod. We'll have another time to talk about this when it gets closer to a game. So
I do want to say, though, I did call OKC and you called. I'm sorry. I did call OKC, so I was wrong.
You see when you just have people that are so eager
you called
to
Denver,
fucking prove you wrong.
I called the Wolves, and I called Indiana.
We're going to have to dial that back.
Yeah, let's run the tape back. Okay, let's talk a little bit about moving forward to next season, because there's a lot of talk in the NBA circles about NBA circles that I'm in with my sources about like this changing of the guard, old players to new players. Really, you see it a lot in these playoffs, these new stars, SGA, Ant, Jalen Brunson, and maybe the older Kevin Durant's, LeBron aren't really having the same impact in the playoffs. Can you give me, and this is off the cuff, so I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this or not. Can you give me?
This is crazy that, your own people set you up. If I go like this, just next.
Can you give me who you think, and you don't have to give the order, are going to be finished top 5 in MVP voting next season, aside from you? I got faith.
Shea, Luka, Ant.
And then it gets dicey.
Depending on how this goes for Tyrese, I'm going to say Tyrese Halliburton and Joel Embiid. I think you might have to throw Jokic in there because, no disrespect to the 3-time MVP, but it's.
I mean, Jokic would have to be in there, but
it's at 6. I didn't get 5. I gave 6.
No love for Jalen Brunson, which is surprising because he finished top 5 this year, and I think he's going to have a better year next year.
I mean, how much more can he do?
Dude,
because that's what people are going to say. It's like, oh, well, he did this last year. Like other guys have shown like improvements. Like, how much more can Jalen Brunson do?
He averaged 28 points. Did I spill myself?
I get that, but when you have guys that are scorers that come back, your scoring average tends to go down, and a lot of MVP voting is based on numbers. So, he would realistically have to average
31.
No, I mean, not even that. They'd have to be like 14 assists.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
Which he probably won't do. But I still think he'll finish top 5. I agree with you. I think Ant is going to be up there. I think SGA. I'm hoping SGA wins it next year because he had such a good year this year.
I know, but at the same time, I'm sure he wants one, but I think for him he has been so instrumental with being the guy in a young group and never wavering from being the guy. He had 50, 30-point games that I'm really not even, and they were number 1 in the West, that I really don't even think that bothers him. I think he's so dialed in on winning, and this is just us talking. It's not saying, oh, he came out and said that he wants to win MVP. Yeah. Obviously, you want to be appreciated, but I think everybody knows how fucking good he is.
He's a killer.
Toughest player to guard, hands down.
Seems like hands down.
We were in Oklahoma City early on this year, and we didn't know how they were going to be. Like, they missed the playoffs, and
this was early in the year.
My guy came up and set a screen, and we were in like a certain coverage, and he scored, and Karis LeVert was like, fucking trap him. He has 40. And I was just like, he's just the toughest guy to guard. Like, you want people to shoot mid-range, he makes mid-range. You want him to shoot threes, he makes threes. Then you want to force him to the rim and shoot over length, he makes layups or kicks out to guys that are making open threes. I feel bad for Oklahoma City because they had a really good shot at, moving on. But
he also just seems so much more explosive when he wants to be too. He can play slow and he can play fast.
He can play slow and he can
play fast. You cut me off. So I have SGA, Ant. I think Jokic is going to be up there. I think Luka will be up there, and I think Jalen Brunson will be in there too. I don't think Embiid's going to be back there. I know that's our boy, but
don't ever doubt the process.
I know, but what are we going to do? All right. Moving on from NBA. Actually, let's stick with the NBA because there was a big story that dropped today that has to do with the TV deals, which must make you happy because these TV deals are going to kick in right when you're up for your next contract. It was reported today that three front runners for these deals are going to be Disney, so ESPN, which is going to get the A package, as they're saying, NBC, which is going to get the B package, which is like they'll split off Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, half the games, and then Amazon is trying to get like the in-season tournament, the play-in tournament, kind of like the offshoot games. And so for the A package, it's reported there's going to be $2.8 billion. Disney's going to pay the NBA $2.8 billion.
What could you do with that?
I mean, a lot. And then the B package to NBC is going to be $2.6 billion, and then the Amazon's just going to be under $2 billion. So you're looking at $6+ billion in the NBA pockets. By the way, this does include the WNBA. So can we pay them a little bit more? I mean, we got to figure that out, right? I mean, like these TV deals, ESPN is playing these games a lot, and next year it's going to be even more.
No, I think, the way the women have grown the game up to this point has been exceptional. I think a lot of people are taking attention towards it. With that being said, we definitely need to find something. I think the new CBA
or whatever.
Just so that they can get paid more, because I'm in the off season and I'm starting to understand what the costs of training in the off season and how much that costs, and having trainers and doing this and doing that. Their off season is during the winter, and or they don't have one and have to go make money overseas. But what I'm saying is, if somebody gets paid 70 to 90 grand a year to be able to afford training in the off season, to just be able to keep up, in the weight room or on the court, that's almost impossible. Now that I look at what off-season training costs, and if you want to be somewhere that you enjoy, different things like that. So if we're going to keep putting out this product, we definitely need to give these women more money and assets and resources, so that they can continue to grow and develop, with the game. So you're not thinking like, oh, well, this girl really didn't have an opportunity, or this woman didn't have an opportunity to develop over the summer because, she doesn't have enough money. She has to go over and play. And you want to grow and develop the product as best as you can. And I think the next thing is they got chartered flights. So great for them. We love that.
Yeah,
we love
chartered
that.
flights are awesome. I've never been on a chartered
they're super
private
cool,
flight,
man. Cool.
They look fucking cool. As someone who has never been on a private or chartered flight, I flew first class once because my wife got it for me for a present.
Really?
Yeah, we flew to Turks and Caicos. First class was crazy.
Here, little Kevin. You got good gift.
Yeah, my sugar mom. So yeah, that's cool. One big thing that should be mentioned is they're going to bring back the NBC music.
Can I do it?
And I'm gonna dunk it. That's an SNL song. Okay, that'll be sick. Hopefully they bring back.
And here, your Houston Rockets featuring Steve Francis play against the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday.
What was it called? It was like Sunday Night Basketball, was it?
Or something like that.
Dude, I'm ready for that to come back because that's going to be nostalgic. But then those deals in a couple of years, Pop.
Oh, yeah.
Those deals might be all right.
Sure.
So hopefully we get another one of those.
Money's always flowing, as they say.
Yeah, I am excited to see. I mean, it sucks that TNT is not going to be there because
they had a great run.
Yeah, but they have the legendary show. I'm sorry to do this. If you take ESPN's coverage of basketball versus TNT's coverage, it's not even close. TNT's Inside the NBA is far and away the best basketball show out. ESPN's is horrible. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know these people, but Bob Myers, Wilbon, Stephen A. Smith, it's like, we got to get something new in here. I can't do. They fired Jalen Rose, and I was like, I'm done with this.
Okay. Well, honestly, that's you coming from a place of like, you are not looking at the game from a strategical standpoint. You want to hear like funny, like outgoing stuff.
I want both.
Yeah, controversial stuff. Well,
no, not controversial. Stephen A. is controversial.
No, what do you mean? Well, Shaq and Charles going at each other and be like
hilarious.
Okay, that's controversial. That's not like. See the rap that TNT gets is like, oh well, they're not even watching games and this, that, and the other. I want to be like, hey, Charles Barkley knows basketball. Yeah. Kenny Smith knows basketball. Like
Charles can't pronounce names very well.
Yeah, they all know basketball from just by watching it and being heck of a players.
Yeah.
Whereas like the show on ESPN, like Bob Myers is dialed in on everything and anything because like that was his job for so long. So he's looking at trends and how many game 7s or game 3s or has he seen in his day where he's like speaking off knowledge and experience. So when you look at it from a standpoint where like I'm trying to learn, ESPN is not bad for ratings because not everybody is trying to just soak in all that basketball knowledge. Yeah. Then TNT's
got it.
If you want to laugh, turn on TNT. That's for
I agree. I kind of like when there's both. I like when you get when you learn some things about basketball.
TNT spin.
TNT spin is the new thing. I hope that they can find something to do for Shaq and Charles Barkley because it's been legendary.
I think
and Ernie. Ernie's
like ain't leaving. He said
he's gonna stay. Yeah, good for him.
I ain't fucking leaving.
Okay. Moving on. Speaking of older athletes, did you watch any of the PGA Championship?
I want to apologize in advance to all the golfers. Great golfers out there all over the world, but unless it's me relaxing on a Sunday, I usually don't tune in. I like to catch the highlights of that type of stuff. But I have a lot of respect for what they do because I've tried to get out there and swing a club, and let's just say
it's tough.
Yeah, I take up parts of the grass and mud and grass goes flying everywhere. But no, I didn't watch.
I just have a take.
I just want to know what the fuck happened with Scotty Scheffler. Like, what police officer, and listen, I respect all of our police officers, but what the fuck happened that he could just freaking go out there and someone's like, he's fucking going to jail. And then it wasn't that big of a deal. 3 hours later, he's back.
Playing golf.
And then like a boss, he was like, well, it was different. I had to stretch in jail this morning. I was like, kind of a flex. I was like, mad respect. You just won the Masters and got arrested. Usually that doesn't happen like in sports towns or whatever. You win the Masters, like I would assume that you would then, oh yeah, no, you're good. You can go. Not like he's fucking coming with us, pal.
Dude, I know. Look, who knows? I wasn't there. No one knows the situation. We've all
another case of Kevin not doing his research before the
podcast. We'll have
a segment of like the things that Kevin didn't do.
I researched this. I do think that it was probably a little bit of an overreaction from the police officer, which happens. He did write in his report that he
was assaulted.
No, but his $80 pants need to be repaired. And he put that in the police report, which is like, dude,
I'm sure if you told Scotty Scheffler,
Scotty would have given you $500.
He would have gave you his pants and
$5K.
Walked in tidy whities.
Not that he'd pay the officer off, but it's like, dude, get over it. Now, it's easy to say because someone's life was lost, so it was a serious crash, which is sad. I know it's tough to even say, and
right, but he had nothing to do.
He had nothing to do with it. But it's just like, listen, I've been directed by a traffic officer to turn right at a spot, and when I did, a car came up and rammed me, and I got into an accident. I'm like, dude, this is your fault. Of course, he rammed me, dude, in the side, dude. That's just, you're making a wiener joke now. No diddy. Okay. Anyway, I have a take about PGA, about the PGA Championship and just golf in general.
Are you a LIV or PGA guy?
It doesn't matter to me. I have no allegiance. to either or. I have not watched one live tournament. I've watched a bunch of PGA.
Honestly, the live stuff when they were doing it in Arizona and they were throwing beers and stuff.
It's sick.
Oh my God.
But they did that at TPC, the Scottsdale Waste Management Open, which looks fun. Here's my take. Something happens, and I think it's specific to middle-aged white dudes that like golf. They are obsessed with Tiger Woods. The guy is 60 years old.
Who?
Tiger Woods. He's like 58.
Yeah.
Or what is he? Maybe he's 48. I don't know. He's 58.
He's been through a lot.
Dude, stop showing this guy. And everybody is like holding on to this, like, someday he's going to win another championship. It's like, dude, this guy was winning stuff in 97. That's like us thinking like Kevin Garnett is going to come back and win games in the NBA. It's like, it's not going to happen. Like, let the guy go off into sunset. And I get the like golf, you can play a little bit longer, but the guy can't walk. He's got serious injuries, and people are like holding on to this Tiger thing.
God, you're chopping someone at the knees. I don't respect
Not
that.
Tiger. I think Tiger's great. I think the people that are his fans are some of the most obnoxious. Like, get over it. So, like, what do you think Tiger's going to do? The guy is old and he can't walk, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, seeing him move around there is tough. Not even the golfing aspect, just more or less the walking.
He can't walk. Yeah. It's sad. It's like hard to watch.
And you know what? I think why people hold on to it is because he was the guy. Like when you think about golf back then, yes, there was, Vijay Singh, Phil Mickelson, John Daly, Ernie Els.
Oh, so a lot of golfers.
But at the same time, he was like the poster child. Like it was like Tiger, the commercial where he's like juggling the ball and then like cranks it down a par 3 and like it's a hole in one. So whenever you have to let go, like they didn't let Michael Jordan go. Well, even though Michael Jordan had a tremendous last 2 years with the Wizards.
He scored 28 a game.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I understand that, but change is hard, and a lot of people aren't willing to accept the change. Yeah. While they're also arresting the guy that won the Masters. So, I mean, they're a mess.
Do you ever worry about your retirement, like what that's going to be like? Do you ever think about that, or like?
I mean, people have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I think the people close to me, who I'd probably tell before it was like even like an announcement, but it's like. Yes, this game has given me so much joy and, pleasure and, the friendships that I'll have, for the rest of my life. But at the same time, it's like nobody cares.
Do you think nobody cares if you retire?
No, like nobody's holding on to anything. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He did a lot for himself, his family, the game, because one thing that someone told me is like, listen, guess what? The game is moving on with or without you, right? And when you start making stuff about you, you just start skipping over steps. It's like, I'm not going to think about my retirement. I'm not going to say this is like my last year so that all the attention can be brought on me. Like at the same time, I played the game because it was extremely enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like 8 years old. So when I'm done, whatever age that is, I'm going to be like, tell my people, hey, this is probably the last one. And you hope that you can go out like that. Because sometimes you go where like, I think I have more to give. And they're like, nah, you don't.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what you want. So I shouldn't say that. Obviously, I want to go out on my terms. Yeah. But that's not how it always
goes. It's funny. I on a similar topic, I had a cousin who played like high level Division I football. Good guy, yeah. David Dudek. He's on the staff at with the Chicago Bears, and I just remember.
Right talking. Now he is.
Yeah, he's on set. Yeah, he's like right under polls. He's killing it, dude. He's a stud. Yeah. And he had a cup of coffee in the NFL also. But I just remember talking to him about how like it abruptly ends for a lot of people, and just like you're so in love with. Like I was never a good athlete. I never was. Like
no way, really.
I mean, I was pretty good. I was all right, but good enough to score 34 points.
Comedian.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully,
you should do stand up.
I never. Would you come to a stand-up show?
I'd be the only guy.
What the fuck? I think I could sell tickets.
Go, Kevin.
I think when you are really good and you're elite, like you are, and a lot of people that play high Division I sports, it's like that's what you do for so long, and then all of a sudden you just don't do it. Just like there's nowhere else to go. Like
you go from like high school, like this is my whole life, to the next part of my life, or this is my whole life, and then
you're like, what am I supposed to do after this?
Wake up, go get coffee, so no practice.
Yeah.
So no practice.
Is that crazy? Like,
I can't even let my mind go down that far. Yeah. I got to get up tomorrow and lift.
I love it. Okay. We did say last time we were going to get to some questions.
Did, and we are sorry because, I know a bunch of you wanted to ask us some questions. I can only imagine what questions Kevin has picked up, because Kevin, he does a lot of hard work on some stuff, but on other stuff, he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a slacker.
This is my time holding him accountable.
Thank you for doing that, dude. Yeah. If I didn't have you, bro, I don't know where I'd be, man. I appreciate you.
Some people.
Here's a question that I'd like to know, but this comes in from Mateo Fizzlebeef. Or Matt of Izzlebeef, whatever. Seems like it's a power move to rip those button warm-up pants on in front of an arena. Yeah. Do you feel some sort of power when you rip those pants off in front of 40,000 people?
Like, here we go. Look at my knee.
Oh, yeah, dude. Does it feel good?
Yeah, I think, growing up, I used to tell my mom, like, I want the Snappy pants.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, until you got the Snappy pants and someone at school found out you had the Snappy pants. And then they ripped them off and you were running around in your little sumo wrestler tighty whitey.
Did that happen to you sometimes?
So I would say the thrill of that was lost pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, on the NBA court, when you have, authentic NBA shorts under there, it's a win.
Now, what happens? Because, like, you see there's, like, a guy that scurries up and kind of grabs your warm-ups from the check-in table.
Yeah.
Where does he organize that? Does he put it under your chair?
I think they have someone that, like, brings it back. Usually I don't. Once I take my pants
Once he takes his pants off, they're not coming back on.
Once I take my pants off, they're off for the game.
For the night.
Yeah. So if you see me with my pants on,
you already
been
know.
in that game.
Kneecaps is out and all that. But someone takes them and brings them back
to the back. They probably pack them up after that.
Are there any guys? I'm going off topic here, but I'm making me think now. Some guys have like gum or candy, or like, is there any guys that have any like weird thing that the equipment manager has to have on the bench during games for like anyone, or any stories like that?
I played with a kid in college that had a toothpick. Played with a toothpick in his mouth. Dustin Hogue.
Wait, he played the game with the toothpick
Yonkers,
in his mouth?
New York. Dustin Hogue played with the toothpick. Joel Embiid is big cough drops.
During the game?
Yeah, I don't know. He's KJ, let me get some cough drops. One time they were Jolly Ranchers. It's crazy. This dude can do all that and drop 50. He's special. I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Cough drops is a wild flex.
Donovan early on was like the double bubble.
Really?
Yeah.
That shit goes bad quick.
Yeah. So he was. I remember he had like one of his first shoes that came out, and they were like double bubble, and I'm like, if only people knew that you eat double bubble all the time. But yeah, the gum is a big thing, but I wouldn't say
no one has any like weird
anything peculiar.
Yeah. That's funny to hear. Okay, let's move on to another one.
I need in the locker room wet wipes.
You do?
Got to.
For boo-boo?
Yeah.
For real?
Boo-boo ka-choo.
Boo-boo wipes?
Yeah.
I had a friend that was like that too, that he's like, bro, if you listen, he said, if you don't use boo-boo wipes every time you use a bathroom, you're nasty. I'm like, that's a little excessive. You're not gonna be able to get the boo-boo wipes every time you use a bathroom.
New York really came out on this boo-boo wipes. All right.
I'm just saying, bro, I like a boo-boo wipe. Now that I have kids, boo-boo wipes are around, I use them, but not every time.
You recycle boo-boo wipes?
It's like a boo-boo wipes. Okay. This is kind of a weird one, but let's go for it. Frank Ocean, Austin Rivers, Ricky Lake, or Jordan Poole? Go over that again. Frank Ocean, Austin Rivers, Ricky Lake. Question. Do you know who Ricky Lake is? You don't. See, this is where my age gets you a little bit. Ricky Lake was like a 90s talk show host who was like kind of fine a little bit. A little bit thick, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm happily married, so I don't want to know parts of that. Okay, this is a good one. What was your favorite childhood basketball? Top Flight, Wilson. Did you ever play with the Wave, which was like trash for a while?
I was a Spalding cat.
Really?
Yeah, Spalding was my favorite. Wilsons weren't really in the mix like that because they were like a little thicker. And I didn't like where like my fingers could like sit in the groove.
Like there was like there's like
deep groove. But I was a big Spalding.
What about is that Evolution?
Yeah, Evolution was a Wilson Evolution.
It was a Wilson, yeah. That's my favorite one. Do you remember the TD? Spalding was the TD.
But let me tell you this.
TD 1000? TD? What was the Spalding? TD?
TF 1000. Yeah, but let me tell you this. Okay. If you were lucky enough to be a hooper and play in a game with that Nike basketball, that Nike Elite.
Back in the day? Yeah, like no schools had those.
Them things were like rocks.
Do you remember like if you went, like, I don't know if you ever played high schools where it was like a little shady and you go and they have that like box. They have like the big box sitting out at half court.
Yeah. When it's like locked. And you're like, yo, this isn't open.
They only have like 3 of the good Evos and the rest of the other ones are like the gym class balls.
Like, you pick it up and one looks like an egg. You're like,
this one's got titties on it. Like, I can't warm up with this.
You're like, I know why your team can't shoot.
Yeah. Can we have some more of the regular balls? I coached at a team that was schools very much like that. I don't know if you know, I coach high school basketball.
You love talk to us a little bit of how you love high school sports. Kidding.
I love high school sports. Who has shut the gym down more times? Do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Who shut the gym more time? Shut the gym down more times, you or me? If we're just going recent, this past year we both had career highs. One was 33 points and it wasn't a running clock game. And the other one was 34 points and it was a running clock game.
Yeah, you probably take the cake because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to watch, the Chubby Hooper. This would be a perfect time for Kevin to talk about the Chubby Hooper.
Yeah, I got to get the Chubby Hooper back. I'm playing in a 3-on-3 tournament this weekend, Memorial Day. So there's going to be good content coming out of that.
Yeah.
And 3x3, 3-on-3 is, I don't have to run the whole court. That's like where I live.
Yeah. And guess what? This guy brings his own jersey. He's the guy that brings freaking oranges for the whole team. He brings his own jersey. So it's like, hey, man, you need to go dark color. He's like, no, for sure, man. Got it. You know what I mean? And then he wears these tight shorts.
No, it's not tight, but short.
They're like right above. You would have thought Larry Bird was wearing them. But at the same time,
I get Bucky's.
No, he gets after it. He's slow moving, but he does some things.
I get Bucky's. Okay, what is the worst?
Yo, can I ask you this though? Yeah. Like, so for me, like practicing every day, like I'm confident in like my jumpers. Like you, like take care of your kids, like do other shit. So what is it like when you like go up to shoot, or are you just like, I don't give a shit. Like I hope these go in.
Okay,
do you want to get lucky today?
Do you want to get serious for a second? And I'll give you a real story.
You don't practice. You just play once a week.
I'll tell you what the difference is. There was, and I have to give a backstory to it, especially now being in Boston.
Make it quick.
I will. When I was 21 years old, I'd been in college for 3 years. I decided I was drinking my life away. I decided I wanted to go play Division III basketball as a 21-year-old senior, which is like hard to do. I'm sorry, Division. Did I say Division 1? I meant to say Division 3. So anyway, I picked out of school and I dropped out of school for a semester and I spent 8 months training to play Division III basketball.
I've never heard this.
This is a true story.
Okay.
Bridgewater State, down the street here.
Down yonder.
And I put everything I had into it. And I was shooting so many shots a day and doing everything else, lifting, that my confidence was through the roof. That if I ever had a bad game, I was able, at that time only in my life, after I missed a few, I was able to always be like, okay, I'm way better than this and snap out of it. Always. For that, like 6 months.
Okay.
For that, like 6 months.
All right.
Again, I'm talking about like pickup or like whatever. I'm not talking about like high level games. This is just like, when you have a bad game, I'm able to get out of it. Now, immediately, I'm either hot or I'm not. And there's no getting out of it. So it's like, if I'm hot to start, I'll stay hot. But if I'm off, I'm going to stay off forever because I never practice. When I was practicing at that time, which was only for 8 months out of my life, I could always shoot out of.
There you have it. Ain't no 10,000 hour rule, just 8 month rule by your own.
I had a lot of hours.
The grill guy.
What's the meanest chirp someone has said to you after scoring on you? So it's specifically after someone scored on you. What's the meanest thing they said or thing that was like hardest for you to hear?
Oh, you know what? There was one where I think it was Jamal Murray.
Okay.
And it wasn't to me, but it was to someone on our team while we were playing, and he was pointing at the bench and he was like, why is he guarding me? Why is he guarding me?
Did that person turn beet red?
No. But there's another one where we were down a lot of bodies this year, and Kevin Durant came to Cleveland, and we were playing him, and the game was over, and obviously he played well. I had to start out on him, and he was like, "Hey man," and I'm about to give him like a high five. He was like, "Hey man, we play y'all in a couple of weeks. Y'all gonna need to switch that matchup up."
About you?
Yeah, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
Was he saying it like a joke?
No, I mean we know each other. He was good to me when I was in Golden State for a short period of time. So I think he was just talking shit, but at the same time, I was like.
I thought you had some defensive matchups this year where you played elite defense.
My man.
One, I will say there's two that stand out to me. One is when you played a back-to-back against the Knicks early on in the season.
Oh, on Julius Randle.
On Julius, you played, I think you held him to 13 points, bro. Yeah. You played great defense.
Yeah.
And then on Banchero, game one, when you were playing.
SOB. Stand on bit. Okay, we're not going
to. You were playing well. Now, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but you were playing really well, and you should have had more chances to do that.
Last question.
Last one. This one I think is to me. Do you credit your incredible calves, and this is spelled Calves, calves carrying a few extra pounds? Listen, Roy T. Phillips, I am carrying a few extra pounds. I also, before I was carrying a few extra pounds, had incredibly sexy legs. It's one thing that I have for me. I always say from chest to nips, including arms, I'm like a 7. From hips down, if you know what I mean, I'm like a 9.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
The body shaming, because because of him, because of those types of comments, and which we'll get to after this, is the comments about you being fat and making fun of Run Club. Is now people are all up on the Zepic because of people like you.
I'm only fat from nips to hips. So like from nips to hips, I'm like a 4 if you're rating 1 to 10. I'm pretty good up above. I don't have the best face, but I got like a 7. Yeah. But I got legs. So hips down.
So if you were to get post game passes that let you go in the locker room,
I'd stand on business. I don't think I could hang with NBA players. I don't think I could hang with NBA players, if you know what I mean. Another wiener joke. I apologize, everybody.
You guys.
I am sorry for the wiener joke.
Thank you guys for
There's only 2.
Coming out and accepting us.
But I want to say one more thing. I got a tattoo here. What do you think about the tattoo? Can I explain it to you? This is an arrow. A Memorial Sloan Kettering is an arrow. So a lot of people that have got cancer have to get arrows. Yeah. And then 3 dots for Aaron, my wife, Quincy, and Charlie, my 2 kids. Nice.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
We probably should have saved that segment for when we were actually being serious, because that actually is serious. Kevin is a cancer survivor. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We appreciate it. This is the Bench Sheet Podcast. I'm George Niang.
And I'm Grill Guy. Goodbye. We got to find a way to end it.